JK Rowling and you're watching another episode of Creative Writing Advice. If you don't know me, I am the author of How to Write a Story, as well as other things. I have a TV show and film in production, and I also write a writing advice blog. I'm over here on YouTube giving you writing advice that has helped me in my career, things that I have found really useful, hoping to help make you a better and more confident writer by dealing with things, storycraft, writing techniques, characterization, things that you can use in your writing, and I'm referencing books, films, TV shows, things that are easy to follow and understand. This is not a hardcore literature intensive series. This is meant to be accessible to everybody who wants to write, so you don't have to have studied in advance to watch these videos. Today I'm going to be talking to you about how to write the first in a series, because obviously there are a lot of very popular series out there, things that you want to keep reading, characters you invest in, things that matter to you. And if you start a successful series, you can earn yourself a loyal audience that just want to come back and back and back. But if you do not earn a loyal audience from book 1, you will never sell book 2, 3, 4 or 5. You have to make a good impact with the first installment of your series. So that's what I'm going to be talking to you about today. The do's, the don'ts, getting a first book of a series out there that people want to come back to, want to invest in and care about. So I'm going to give you a don't first, because I think it's really easy to slip into don'ts, and this is actually something I did with my first book back when it was in one of its early incarnations. I haven't done this now. So, when you write the first in a series, it can be really, really tempting to end on a cliffhanger. And that means you end the book without finishing the conflict of that story. You leave it open. The intention, and I understand it because I'll talk about what I did, is to draw your audience back. Make them want to keep reading. Be like, oh my god, I can't believe it's over already. I need to know what happens. And it makes sense. You do it with TV shows a lot, especially pilot episodes, because you want them to come back and watch another one. But the difference is, with a pilot episode of a TV show and the first episode of a book, TV show you're going to watch the next one next week, or as it's binge watching Netflix and Prime now, you're going to watch the next one in a minute. But with a TV show, it's right there. You just keep going if you like it. It's easy. With a book, first of all, you have to buy another book. Second of all, if the book isn't out yet, if it's still waiting, you don't know when it's going to come. You could be waiting for years, truly years, before the next one comes out. So it's very frustrating. And number 3, you as the writer have not proven to your audience yet that you can tell a complete story. All you've done is show them you know how to start a story. And I don't know about you, but I find stories where the writer's like, oh, I'm not really sure how to end this, so I'm just going to keep going and hope something lands. Incredibly difficult. It's frustrating and annoying, and it makes me not want to keep reading. So if I haven't got a guarantee that that writer knows how to land a story at the end of it, I don't want to come back. I don't want to put myself through that. There's so many books out there to read, brilliant books, that why would I commit myself to reading another story that won't get finished? You need your audience to know that you can tell a story in order for them to come back for another one. So the example I'm going to be using of this is a book called Black Edge by Charlotte Byrd. So I read Black Edge. I was having a great time with it. I will say it was ruder than I thought it was going to be. I wasn't prepared. But it was a good book. I liked the characters. I liked what was going on. I was curious. I was interested. I wanted to know what the guy was doing. What was the mysterious situation? What was she going to do? What was her choices going to be? I got to the end of the book and it wasn't the end. She was off back to the party where she first met him. I don't know why. I don't know what was going on. I can't tell you. It ended. It just finished. And then there was the link to buy the next one. But when I bought the first one, I hadn't agreed to just buy part of a story. I agreed to buy a book. And I didn't get what I bought. I was left unsatisfied, which, considering it was a rude book. But that means I didn't then buy the next one, because I don't know if she's going to tell a complete story. I don't know if she's going to wrap that one up. I don't know. And much as I would like to think She will, and it's worth it. I have no guarantee. I could just be reading another part of a story and then having to buy another book to get more. And that's not what I signed up for. So what I did for this was my mistake, was I tried to do this myself. In Lily, Prospero and the Magic Rabbit, a very significant moment happens. And I chose, in my early versions of this book, to end there. I made the stuff that happened before that much more detailed, there was a lot more going on. And I ended the book at what is now the midpoint. But it was a cliffhanger. I didn't say why that had happened, I didn't resolve the conflict, I just had you, hopefully, caring about the characters and wanting to know what happens, but without telling you. Now, of course, that is the midpoint. I changed the structure, I built around it, and I completed my conflict. So by the end of the book, you know who's goody, who's baddie, you know the final result, it's all there. But it's still the first in a series. So how do you make the first in a series draw you back if you have a complete conflict? You leave threads open. Threads. Not an entire open cavern of things that people want to know and find out, just threads. So for instance, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, a complete conflict launching one of the most successful series in our history. Literally in our history. But if Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone had ended before he met Quirrell in the cavern and discovered the Voldemort stuff, you'd be like, well, I've just seen Ron on the giant chess pieces and flying around catching the key, but what now? It would be done. And yes, you would want to know, you'd want to know who has the Philosopher's Stone, you'd want to know who was working with Voldemort, you'd want to know what happened, but you wouldn't have been shown that she could tell a complete story. However, threads are left open. You know Voldemort is still out there. You know Voldemort still has loyal supporters. It's all there, it's all waiting. But she leaves that open, so you want to come back and see if Voldemort comes back. But the story conflict itself, Harry, Voldemort, Philosopher's Stone, resolved, completed, you are left satisfied at the end of that book. In my book, Lily, Prospero and the Magic Rabbit, same thing. I left it closed, conflict resolved. But you know that Lily's power is growing. You know there are people out there who want to get to her because of the strength of her power. So you want to find out what they will. You want to find out what she and Saffron are going to do and how they're going to cope with those situations. But the story conflict is resolved. So that is a really important thing. Your story has to be resolved with threads loose to draw people back. Another really important factor is your characters. And I've said this a lot before, your characters and your characterization is one of the most important parts of your story. Because if your characters are boring, or people don't care what they get, won't care what happens to them, they are not going to want to come back, because what's the point? You are writing with a protagonist. It's this person and the people surrounding them that you are grounded in. You are experiencing life with that person, and if you don't like them or don't care what happens to them, you're not going to want to keep reading. So the key things you've just got to get straight into any story, even if it's not the first in a series, but any story, is what does your protagonist want? Why is your audience here? What are they doing? Why are they investing time and money in your protagonist and their story? If your protagonist doesn't want anything, your audience won't want anything. So they won't care. So from the very start, you have to show what it is that your protagonist wants. What are they driven by? What are they motivated by? And why does it matter? Make sure it's something your audience can be like, yes, I want to see what happens to this. In Harry Potter, obviously, it's the problem of Voldemort. That is a big one. You get why it matters. And then you have the more mundane version, which is surviving in school, getting friends, getting through high school, which is an experience we can relate to. We have also struggled with that. I'm reading that, I'm thinking, yeah, getting through high school was a challenge that I had to struggle with too. So you get it, you care, and it's an ongoing conflict, even if the individual one is resolved. That thread, that feeling of having to get through high school and all the challenges that come with it, as well as having the big bad of Voldemort, you get it, you know why you're there. So when you want to come back to the second book, you know what you're getting in for. Even if the conflict of that particular story is different and not something you're familiar with. The general experience of Harry versus Voldemort versus high school, you understand. So, resolve your conflict, leave threads open, and write characters that your audience want to come back to. And that is the best way to start the first book in a series. Thank you very much for watching another one of my videos. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it has been helpful. Drop a comment below and talk to me. What is your favourite first in a series? Book, film, TV, doesn't matter. Your favourite first in a series, because that way we can look at them and work out why they're so successful. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm bringing you a new video on a Monday, a Wednesday and a Friday at 9:30. I also have an extensive back catalogue of writing information covering all different topics, referencing all different stories. Hopefully something will be useful to you and we can all grow and get more stories out into the world. On my website, jjbarnes.co.uk, you can find links to all of my books, my film, my TV, and my writing advice blog. You can also subscribe with Siren Stories, because this month for August they are giving away a signed copy of How to Write a Story. And if you want to write, this book should hopefully be really useful to you. So go over there, you subscribe once, you're entered every single month to the different giveaways, and it's completely free. And as I say, this month is my book, How to Write a Story. So thank you very much for watching, and I will be back again soon. Bye.